Wordless 39. Redolent. Fragrant, odorous, suggestive of an odor. Even though it is February, the air is redolent of spring. Redoubtable. Formidable, causing fear. During the Cold War period, neighboring countries tried not to offend the Russians because they could be redoubtable foes. Redress. Remedy, compensation. Do you mean to tell me that I can get no redress for my injuries? Also v. Redundant. Superfluous, repetitious, excessive G-worthy. The bottle of wine I brought to Babs was certainly redundant. How was I to know Bob owned a winery? In your essay, you repeat several points unnecessarily. Try to be less redundant in the future. Reek. Emit, odor. The room reeked with stale tobacco smoke. Refraction. Bending of a ray of light. When you look at a stick inserted in water, it looks spent because of the refraction of the light by the water. Refractory. Stubborn, unmanageable. The refractory horse was eliminated from the race when he refused to obey the jockey. Refrain. Abstain from, resist. Whenever he heard a song with a lively chorus, Saul could never refrain from joining in on the refrain. Refurbish. Renovate, make bright by polishing. The flood left a deposit of mud on everything. We had to refurbish our belongings. Refute. Disprove. The defense called several respectable witnesses who were able to refute the false testimony of the prosecution's sole witness. Regal. Royal. Prince Albert had a regal manner. Regale. Entertain. John regaled us with tales of his adventures in Africa. Regime. Method or system of government. When the French mentioned the old regime, they referred to the government existing before the Revolution. Regimen. Prescribed diet and habits. I doubt whether the results warrant our living under such a strict regimen. Rehabilitate. Restore to proper condition. We must rehabilitate those whom we send to prison. Reimburse. Repay. Let me know what you have spent and I will reimburse you. Reiterate. Repeat. He reiterated the warning to make sure everyone understood it. Rejoinder. Retort, comeback, reply. When someone has been rude to me, I find it particularly satisfying to come up with a quick rejoinder. Rejuvenate. Make young again. The charlatan claimed that his elixir would rejuvenate the aged and weary. Relegate. Banish to an inferior position, delegate, assign. After Ralph dropped his second tray of drinks that week, the manager swiftly relegated him to a minor post cleaning up behind the bar. Relent. Give in. When her stern father would not relent and allow her to marry Robert Browning, Elizabeth Barrett eloped with her suitor. Relevant. Pertinent, referring to the case in hand. How relevant Virginia Woolf's essays are to women writers today. It's as if Woolf in the S foresaw our current literary struggles. Relic. Surviving remnant, memento. Egypt's Department of Antiquities prohibits tourists from taking mummies and other ancient relics out of the country. Mike keeps his photos of his trip to Egypt in a box with other relics of his travels. Relinquish. Give up something with reluctance, yield. Denise never realized how hard it would be for her to relinquish her newborn son to the care of his adoptive parents. Once you get used to fringe benefits like expense account meals and a company car, it's very hard to relinquish them. Relish. Savor, enjoy. Watching Peter enthusiastically chow down, I thought, now there's a man who relishes a good dinner. Also. Remediable. Reparable. Let us be grateful that the damage is remediable. Remedial. Curative, corrective. Because he was a slow reader, he decided to take a course in remedial reading. Reminiscence. Recollection. Her reminiscences of her experiences are so fascinating that she ought to write a book. Remiss. Negligent. The guard was accused of being remiss in his duty when the prisoner escaped. Remission. Temporary moderation of disease symptoms, cancellation of a debt, forgiveness or pardon. Though the senator had been treated for cancer, his symptoms were in remission, and he was considered fit enough to handle the strains of a presidential race. Remnant. Remainder. I suggest that you wait until the store places the remnants of these goods on sale. Remonstrance. Protest, objection. The authorities were deaf to the pastor's remonstrances about the lack of police protection in the area. Remorse. Guilt, self-reproach. The murderer felt no remorse for his crime. Remunerative. Compensating, rewarding. I find my new work so remunerative that I may not return to my previous employment. Rend. Split, tear apart. In his grief, he tried to rend his garments. Render. Deliver, provide, represent. He rendered aid to the needy and indigent. Rendition. Translation, artistic interpretation of a song, etc. The audience cheered enthusiastically as she completed her rendition of the aria. Renegade. Deserter, traitor. Because he had abandoned his post and joined forces with the Indians, his fellow officers considered the hero of Dances with Wolves a renegade. Renege. Deny, go back on. He reneged on paying off his debt. Renounce. Abandon, disown, repudiate. Even though she knew she would be burned at the stake as a witch, Joan of Arc refused to renounce her belief that her voices came from God. Renovate. Restore to good condition, renew. They claim that they can renovate worn shoes so that they look like new ones. Renown. Fame. For many years an unheralded researcher, Barbara McClintock gained international renown when she won the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. Rent. Rip, split. Kit did an excellent job of mending the rent in the lining of her coat. Reparable. Capable of being repaired. Fortunately, the damages we suffered in the accident were reparable and our car looks brand new. Reparation. Amends, compensation. At the peace conference, the defeated country promised to pay reparations to the victors. Repast. Meal, feast, banquet. The caterers prepared a delicious repast for Fred and Judy's wedding day. Repeal. Revoke, annul. What would the effect on our society be if we decriminalized drug use by repealing the laws against the possession and sale of narcotics? Repel. Drive away, disgust. At first, the beast's ferocious appearance repelled Beauty, but she came to love the tender heart hidden behind that beastly exterior. Repellent. Driving away, unattractive. Mosquitoes find the odor so repellent that they leave any spot where this liquid has been sprayed. Repercussion. Rebound, reverberation, reaction. I am afraid that this unfortunate incident will have serious repercussions. Repertoire. List of works of music, drama, etc. a performer is prepared to present. The opera company decided to include Madame Butterfly in its repertoire for the following season. Replenish. Fill up again. Before she could take another backpacking trip, Carla had to replenish her stock of freeze-dried foods. Replete. Filled to the brim or to the point of being stuffed, abundantly supplied. The movie star's memoir was replete with juicy details about the love life of half of Hollywood. Replica. Copy. Are you going to hang this replica of the Declaration of Independence in the classroom or in the auditorium? Replicate. Reproduce, duplicate. Because he had always wanted a palace, Donald decided to replicate the Taj Mahal in miniature on his estate. Repository. Storehouse. Libraries are repositories of the world's best thoughts. Reprehensible. Deserving blame. Shocked by the viciousness of the bombing, politicians of every party uniformly condemned the terrorists' reprehensible deed. Repress. Restrain, crush, oppress. Anne's parents tried to curb her impetuosity without repressing her boundless high spirits. Reprieve. Temporary stay. During the 24-hour reprieve, the lawyers sought to make the stay of execution permanent. Reprimand. Reprove severely, rebuke. Every time Ermengarde made a mistake in class, she was afraid that Miss Minchin would reprimand her and tell her father how badly she was doing in school. Reprisal. Retaliation. I am confident that we are ready for any reprisals the enemy may undertake. Reprise. Musical repetition, repeat performance, recurrent action. We enjoyed the soprano's solo in Act 1 so much that we were delighted by its reprise in the finale. Reproach. Express disapproval or disappointment. He never could do anything wrong without imagining how the look on his mother's face would reproach him afterwards. Reprobate. Person hardened in sin, devoid of a sense of decency. I cannot understand why he has so many admirers if he is the reprobate you say he is. Reprove. Censure, rebuke. The principal severely reproved the students whenever they talked in the halls. Repudiate. Disown, disavow. On separating from Tony, Tina announced that she would repudiate all debts incurred by her soon-to-be ex-husband. Repugnant. Loathsome, hateful. She found the snake repugnant and looked on it with loathing and fear. Repulsion. Distaste, act of driving back. Hating bloodshed, she viewed war with repulsion. Even defensive battles distressed her, for the repulsion of enemy forces is never accomplished bloodlessly. Reputable. Respectable. If you want to buy antiques, look for a reputable dealer. Far too many dealers today pass off fakes as genuine antiques. Reputed. Supposed. Though he is the reputed father of the child, no one can be sure. Requiem. Mass for the dead, dirge. They played Mozart's Requiem at the funeral. Requisite. Necessary requirement. Many colleges state that a student must offer 3 years of a language as a requisite for admission. Requite. Repay, revenge. The wretch requited his benefactors by betraying them. Rescind. Cancel. Because of the public outcry against the new taxes, the Senator proposed a bill to rescind the unpopular financial measure.